Hi guys, it's Larry here with XenonSupply.com. Today we'll be doing an install on the low beams for a 2005 Chrysler 300C. This kit will also be compatible with the years 2005 to 2010 Chrysler 300s. We will be using two XenonSupply 9006 6000K bulbs along with our premium ballast. Let's go ahead and pop the hood and get started. This is the kit we'll be using for today's installation. We have two 9006 6000K color temperature bulbs from XenonSupply, two XenonSupply premium ballasts, a relay wiring harness, two 3M pads to mount our ballasts, and a few zip ties to tie up our wiring, all of which you can find at the link below. The only tools we'll be using for today's installation are a flathead screwdriver, a socket wrench, a 10mm socket, and a 14mm socket. The bulb on the passenger side is easily accessible. To remove, you simply reach in, turn counterclockwise, and remove. To remove the bulb from the stock harness, you need to use your flathead screwdriver. Gently stick it under these two tabs here and lift. Be careful also not to touch the bulb with your hand. And remove. When installing the bulb, be sure to have the ground wire facing at the 7 o'clock position. When you insert, turn, and lock it in place in the 6 o'clock position. When installing this bulb, be sure not to touch the bulb with your hand, as it will decrease the lifespan of the bulb. Let's go ahead and install it. Now the bulb on the driver's side is a little bit harder to access because of the power steering container. We're going to show you a few tips to make it easier for you. To remove the power steering container, simply use your finger to pry this tab outward. Do it gently as to not to break the tab. Simply wiggle and lift and move it over to the side. Now to remove the bulb on the driver's side, we're going to be doing the same thing we did on the passenger side. We're going to grab the bulb, turn counterclockwise, and release. Once you have the bulb out, go ahead and disconnect it from the stock connector the same way we did on the other side using the flathead screwdriver. We're going to be installing the bulb on the driver's side the same way we did on the passenger side, by inserting the bulb at the 7 o'clock position and locking it in place by turning it into the 6 o'clock position. As you can see, we've laid out the wiring harness for you. We're going to start by showing you the connections on the passenger side. The first connection we're going to make is we're going to connect this here ballast power plug to the ballast. And we're going to take this here ground wire and ground it to the bolt on the frame. We're going to take this here connector and we're going to connect it to this here connector coming off of the bulbs. Then we're going to take the other end of this connector, just like this, and we're going to attach it to our stock connector, like so. And the final connection we'll be making on the passenger side is we'll be taking this here power wire and attaching it to the positive terminal on the battery. On the driver's side, the only connections we'll be making are the ballast power plug to the ballast, and then we'll be grounding that to the bolt on the frame. Now that we have both sides connected, let's go ahead and test our lights to make sure we have everything working properly before we go ahead and mount the ballast and tidy up our wiring. Now that we know our connections are good and our lights work, let's go ahead and use our 3M mounting tape to mount our ballast. Now when you mount your ballast, you want to make sure you have an area that's clean and dry. We went ahead and wiped down our area already. Okay, on the driver's side, we decided to mount the ballast underneath the power steering tank. You're going to want to make sure you have a clean, dry surface, just like the passenger side. You're going to want to also make sure that you mount the ballast far enough down in this area so that you can put the power steering tank back in its original space. Let's go ahead and mount the ballast. As you can see, we've tidied up all the wiring. Snug but not too tight. All there's left to do is put the power steering fluid tank back. Now that concludes the installation of HIDs on the low beams for a 2005 Chrysler 300C. To purchase this kit, click on the link below. Thanks for watching.